Hi, our next topic is hormone secretion, transport, and clearance from blood. Okay. The duration of action of various hormones that greatly vary. Okay, depends upon the hormone. The duration or the time taking for its action varies. For example, epinephrine and norepinephrine secrete within seconds after the stimulation of the gland and develop a full-fledged action within another few seconds to minutes. Okay, so it's a very quick acting hormone, whereas thyroxine and growth hormone may require months for full action to develop. Therefore, each hormone has its own characteristic onset and duration of action. Okay. Now, concentration of hormone in blood. The concentration of hormone required to develop endocrine function is incredibly small. Okay, incredibly small, and this concentration ranges from as little as 1 picogram per ml blood to a maximum of a few microgram per ml blood. Okay, it's extremely small quantity. Now the rate of secretion is extremely small, which is measured in microgram or milligram per day. Okay, per day. Microgram is a very small quantity, and we express the rate of secretion in few micrograms to a maximum of few milligram per day. So the rate of hormone secretion is very slow, but these hormones are incredibly powerful enough to uh, uh, you know generate a massive physiological effect in the body. Okay. Now, control of hormone secretion by feedback mechanisms. First one is negative feedback mechanism. Okay, that prevents the overactivity of a particular hormone. So it acts like a turn on and turn off as per the physiological need. The plasma concentration fluctuates in response to various stimuli, but is well controlled mostly by the negative feedback mechanism, which ensures a proper level of hormones at the target tissue or the target site of action. So we can say that after a stimulus that causes the release of a hormone, okay, so hormone is now released. Now, the conditions or products resulting from the action of that hormone tended to suppress its further release. Okay, so it's a negative feedback. Okay, so the conditions or products resulting from the action of that hormone that suppress its further release. Okay, that suppress the further release of that particular hormone. In other words, the hormone or its products has a negative feedback effects to prevent oversecretion of a hormone or overactivity at target tissue. This means that it's not only the rate of secretion but the degree of its activity at target tissue also matters. Okay. Therefore, only when the target tissue activity level raises to appropriate levels, the feedback signals to the gland becomes powerful enough to slow down further secretion of hormone. Okay, feedback regulation can occur at all levels. It's not that it does inhibit at a particular level. It can inhibit, it can regulate at transcription level, translation level, synthesis, storage, release level, etc. So it can be regulated at different levels. Okay. Now, second one is storage or the surge of hormone by positive feedback. Okay, and we have already understood the negative feedback, in which if hormone is sufficiently released, that gives a negative feedback to the gland to reduce its secretion. Okay, that suppress, that inhibits any further synthesis of hormone. Whereas there are some conditions where a feedback mechanism operates. Seldom for feedback mechanism occur when the biological action of a hormone, okay, of a hormone causes additional secretion of hormone. For example, surge of LH. Okay, at first, usually LH is secreted by the anterior pituitary just before ovulation under the influence of estrogen secreted by the ovary. So the estrogen secreted by ovary that stimulate anterior pituitary to secrete LH hormone, luteinizing hormone. Okay, so this is a normal action or the normally occurring phenomenon. Now, here we are going to have a positive feedback mechanism. Okay, now this LH influence on ovary to synthesize estrogen, to synthesize more and more estrogen, and this excessively synthesized estrogen that acts on anterior pituitary, and this anterior pituitary now synthesizes more and more LH, and this LH again, okay, this LH again stimulate ovary to synthesize more and more estrogen, and this estrogen again stimulate anterior pituitary to synthesize more LH. So in this way, this positive feedback mechanism stimulate the gland to synthesize more and more hormone. Okay, I hope you could understand what I meant to say is LH secretion, okay, is under the influence of estrogen by the anterior pituitary is a normal phenomenon, but under the positive feedback of LH on the ovary that stimulate ovary to synthesize more and more estrogen, that stimulate anterior pituitary to produce more and more LH again. So this is a feedback mechanism. LH was already producing, but its positive feedback further synthesizes more and more estrogen by the ovary, and that further enhances the LH secretion by the anterior pituitary. But once appropriate level of LH is synthesized, then the negative feedback mechanism operates and thereby reduce the further LH secretion. Okay. Now the cyclic variation of, okay, now the cyclical variation of hormone release or variation in hormone release, there is a periodic variation in the hormone secretion due to positive and negative feedback mechanism. This may be due to seasonal changes. Okay, seasonal changes. For example, in case of fish, the gonadal hormone secretion increases during monsoon season. So seasonal changes, various stages of development, for example teenage in human, then aging, diurnal cycle, sleep, etc. For example, as an example, specific example, the secretion of growth hormone increases during early period of sleep but reduced during later stage of sleep. So the secretion of growth hormone varied within different time periods of the same day. That's what I meant to say is there is cyclic variation in the hormone release due to positive and negative feedback mechanism. Okay, that's all I wanted to make you understand today. Okay, I wish you all the best.